Welcome to Don't Go Down That Road, where I take a look at the myths, legends, and reality of some of the creepiest roads in the Northeast. Do they have ghosts, demons, UFOs, and cryptids? Or is it all just the result of people's wild imaginations? Take a drive for yourself and find out. If you dare. Back in November of 2000, I heard about a road where there were murders, suicides, floods, fires, strange creatures, and ghosts. My first question was, how do I get there? Lundy Road in the town of Wawarsing, New York, is over 6 miles of mystery, legend, and tragedy. When you first enter the road from Route 209, it looks like any street of typical homes, but it quickly turns into a narrow, winding, treacherous place, especially in the dark. And if you look carefully in the woods, you'll see the ruins of old tumbled-down houses and chimneys marking the homes of people long forgotten. The road got its name from Irving Lundy, the owner of the famous Lundy seafood restaurant in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, which could seat an astonishing 2,800 people and operated from 1926 until 1979. Lundy became an eccentric recluse, probably because he and his partner were robbed and kidnapped in 1926. He built a mansion on this road on part of the 5,400 secluded acres he owned. Oddly, women were never allowed into the mansion, and guests had to sleep in cabins or tents. A couple of miles past the mansion once stood the town of Pottersville, founded by Francis Potter when he built a sawmill there in 1850. The mill burned in 1870 and the residents left. Pottersville was reoccupied in the early 20th century, but a devastating flood in 1928 caused the town to be abandoned once again. The flood caused over a dozen deaths. Around 2001, the remaining homes were burned and bulldozed, but remnants still exist, possibly in more ways than one. Speaking of deaths, there is a legend about a man who murdered his entire family on Lundy Road, then committed suicide. It is said the spirits of this family still haunt these woods. In November of 2001, 2 friends were hunting, and one of the men shot the other in the head and killed him. The man claimed it was a terrible accident, but he was still found guilty of negligent homicide. One of the most bizarre things I ever experienced happened on Lundy's Road about 20 years ago. It was a cold winter night, and my husband and I stopped at an old stone farmhouse that was boarded up. I took some flash photos with my 35mm camera and then used my Sony camcorder with the night shot feature that can see in the dark. We were certain that a side door was nailed shut when we arrived. But a short time later, I realized that with the night vision, I was now seeing into the house because the door was now gone. At least part of it was. Look closely. The door didn't swing open. Part of it had just vanished, and part of the transom over the door was now gone as well. There hadn't been a sound. The pieces of wood were not on the ground. They were just gone. As I looked into the mysterious old house, I actually felt drawn to it, like the house wanted me to come inside. As strong as that pull was, though, there was also the sense of real danger. Something had just happened I couldn't explain, and I backed away very quickly. I had no intention of becoming part of the legend of Lundy Road. After hearing this, you still want to visit Lundy Road. Go for the first time in daylight. Towards the end, where Pottersville once stood, The road is so bad you will have to hike or use a four-wheel drive vehicle. And please be extremely careful in the dense woods where people have been murdered and died in tragedies that may have added to the road's haunted reputation. Sometimes legends are simply just our attempts at trying to explain the unexplainable. But perhaps you can find answers on Lundy's Road. If you want to read more about Lundy Road, pick up a copy of Ghost Investigator Volume 1, available on Amazon. You have been listening to Don't Go Down That Road with Linda Zimmermann.